streets of Villachuato, sometimes you hear music. Today, a church choir rehearses for a wedding. Other times, the music is something you feel. Villachuato has a rhythm all its own. Here, cars and cattle share roads. Small family-owned businesses pop up on street corners. Speed bumps replace police patrol. Beauty's found in what's old rather than what's new, but beauty doesn't pay the bills. This small village is home to about 2,000 people. There used to be 3 times as many, but people like these 4 men left. I asked them where they went.
Todos ustedes estaban contigo.
Sí, todos estábamos en
Yeah,
Marshalltown.
we were all in Marshalltown.
In fact, many believe there are more people from Villachuato in Marshalltown than here in Villachuato.
¿Por qué Marshalltown?
Well, there are a lot of places we could go. Marshalltown is one of the places that has a lot of people from Villachuato.
Including these 4 guys. They were co-workers at the Swift plant in Marshalltown. Hugo Alvico and his friends lived and worked there for years. That ended on December 12, 2006, the day immigration agents raided the Swift plant and arrested nearly 100 workers. 3 days after the raid, these 4 men were deported.
Everyone felt really bad because they were leaving their families there and everything they had earned. I left my home, my things.
They did not have legal papers to work in the United States, but they went anyway. They say to find a better life.
Here, the people work 1 or 2 days each week. There isn't enough work for everyone.
Trabajo para todos.
Today, many of the Swift workers are back in their own country. They're in their hometowns, but many of them say here is no longer home.
That's kind of difficult for me, because I don't know what to do here. Nothing, I've been living more of my life up there.
Another day, we find another person who was deported out of Marshalltown. Today is Joan Vargas's 5th day back in Villachuato, the town he left when he was just a kid.
I was working, and about 7:30 they started saying that the ICE police was there, so what I did, we tried to hide, but they still find us.
Where'd you hide?
Up in the ceiling.
Joan hid in the ceiling for 3 hours before agents found him. His parents, siblings, wife, and kids are still in Marshalltown.
But what about your family?
Well, that's what I'm thinking, if to bring them out here, but sometimes I think that what we want to do here, if I don't know what to do here,
Joan says so far he can't find a job in Villachuato. Neither can Leticia Cabrera Rodriguez.
When people have babies like me, we lived alone, me and my son. If immigration comes, my son would be left alone.
That's why Leticia didn't wait for immigration to come to her packaging plant in Nevada. Friends called her the morning of the Marshalltown raid and told her not to go to work.
Entonces, ¿dejaste tu trabajo inmediatamente?
Sí, I didn't go back to work. I decided not to go back.
Days after she got that call, Leticia and 2-year-old Pedro were back in Mexico.
I brought nothing more than a suitcase, my son, and me.
Leticia and Pedro are now staying with a friend. The friend works to support Leticia and her son. She says combined, they live on $10 a day. All of these people say they left Villachuato because they couldn't find work. Now they're back, and little has changed. We want to see who, if anyone, is working. We traveled just outside of Villachuato to El Campo, or the fields. That's where we find 16-year-old Fermin Laguna.
Today we're picking strawberries.
In El Campo, about a dozen people are picking strawberries. You might consider them the lucky ones. Today, they have a job.
So that I can give my family food and support my family.
Fermin says he gets paid based on how many boxes of strawberries he fills. On a good day, he makes 120 pesos, or $12. On a slow day, he makes 60 pesos, or $6 for his entire day's work.
It's not worth it, but there's nothing else.
Nothing else for Hugo, Joan, Leticia. All of them say nothing leaves them with one alternative.
We're planning on going back.
In fact, most people we talk to in Mexico say they want to return to the United States someday, with or without papers. Fear alone isn't enough to keep them in Villachuato. Their need outweighs the fear. Hope for a better future outweighs the risk.
I really want to go to the United States to work. If it's possible, that's what I want.
"1,500 miles separate Villachuato, Mexico, and Iowa. But Iowa doesn't feel that far away. Symbols of Iowa pride pop up where you least expect them. The fact they're here's no coincidence. People from Villachuato are no strangers to the Midwest. In fact, many of them now call Iowa home. Still, calling something other than Villachuato home isn't easy.
It's really hard to have two families.
Jose Ramirez says one of those families, his wife and kids, lives with him in Marshalltown. The other lives here. Jose is now a U.S. citizen, so he can visit his parents. He makes the long trip a couple of times a year.
I have one foot in Mexico and one in the United States. I would like to have both of them together, but I can't.
He can't because Jose says he found a better life. It's the only life his kids have ever known, and that life provides for both family in Marshalltown and Villachuato. Money made in Iowa also provides for Manuel Castillo and his family.
If I had here more or less what I need to live, I wouldn't go to the United States.
But Manuel says he had to go. 8 years ago, he headed to Marshalltown, leaving his entire family behind.
The family didn't have enough for the most basic necessities, like medicine or clothes.
Today, he has American residency and a job in Des Moines. But this old Nintendo game is about all Manuel's kids know of American life. For now, he's happy they at least have what they need. Today in Villachuato, most people can meet at least some of their basic needs. That's due in large part to money coming down from Iowa. Some can even go beyond the basic needs. Here at this home improvements are possible because of money earned in America. But without that money, many think Villachuato would be a ghost town.
The critical problem lies in the economic situation in Mexico.
A situation that Manuel says forces him to work outside of his country. He'll return to Iowa in June, once again leaving behind his family. Those that leave Villachuato are looking for a better life, but they're also trying to make life better for those who stay. Jose Ramirez says he made the best decision for his family.
The difference is obvious. Life in Mexico is hard. It's easier to live, to survive in the United States because you have work there, and here there is none.
Still, it's not an easy decision. Jose knows symbols of Iowa are all some of his family will ever see.